A very good evening to everyone joining us live around the world as Wasserman Boxing arrive in Newcastle. Josh Kelly, Flavius Biea in the super welterweight division today. Josh Kelly looks to take that one step closer to world title championship shots. But first, he's got to get through the Romanian Flavius Biea. Joining me to my right as we build up to tonight's offering, Oscar Beavis. Oscar, good evening. We have a huge night of action here ahead. We've got a stacked Wasserman card, which we're going to go through in a moment. But first, let's start with the main event. Josh Kelly, the pretty boy, is back. We've seen him all week. He's meaning business.
Yeah, what a delight to be sitting next to you, Chris. Last time we've done this, we was down in Brighton. We're just a bit further north this time. How can you not be excited for tonight? Josh Kelly, one of the most entertaining fighters, not just in Britain, on the planet. We want to see him in big fights, and tonight is, to some degree, a big fight. But it's bigger fights we want to see him in, and a win tonight will go a long way to getting him those big fights. I spent a bit of time with Josh in camp, actually, and the way he trains is monstrous. But the way he enjoys his training, he's free-flowing, he's dancing while he's sparring. This is a man who enjoys his boxing, and if what I saw in the gym translates to what we see in there tonight, it's going to be one hell of a show.
We were on the press conference stage earlier this week with Josh, Flavius and Adam Booth, of course, the man who's guiding Josh Kelly. He's in his corner, he's watching him in these training sessions that you speak of, and he's openly saying that yes, Josh is slick, yes, he's smooth. He actually used the words you couldn't hit him with a handful of rice, but we know all that stuff. He's now saying Josh Kelly is spiteful. He's taking out this frustration that the whole UK division has been running away from him. He's taking that out on opponents in sparring, and tonight he wants to see him take that frustration out on Flavius Biea, albeit in a controlled manner, but still, it's slick, it's smooth, but it's spiteful.
How could he not be frustrated? It makes sense. He probably looked at Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn and a packed-out Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and thought that could be and should maybe be me. He probably looked at Liam Smith's defeat to Aaron McKenna and thought that was the man I was meant to fight. What would I have done to Liam Smith? So I sense the frustration. I understand the frustration. So if he adds that spitefulness and perhaps a bit of anger of the way the last 18 months, 2 years have gone, then we might see a complete package from Josh. I can't wait. I'm really excited.
We've seen Josh Kelly take over the Northeast on a few occasions with Wasserman now, but last time he was here in this arena, it was that fight. It was the Troy Williamson British title fight that Josh looked $1 million. I worked very, very closely with Wasserman, watched the content and the social figures, the clips of Josh Kelly in the ring that night against Troy Williamson, looking untouchable, looking like Troy couldn't hit him, as Adam Booth says, with a handful of rice. This was the arena for that. This was, and when you speak to Josh, he talks about this arena, like it brings something out of him. This is the stage that Josh belongs on, right?
Yeah, there's nothing like fighting where you're from. You ask any fighter, of course they want to go and have their big nights in Saudi Arabia, their big nights in Las Vegas, but you put a fighter where they're from, you put them around their friends and family, they look to the left, friends look to their right, family, like I said, you put them in that place and they will perform. Yeah. I think it's going to be tough for Josh tonight in the simple sense that, and he said this to me in camp, Flavius Biea, this is his world title fight.
Yes.
So he's coming here with the aim of winning and looking at something beyond that could change his life. We know where Josh should be and where he can be. Flavius Biea, we don't know. He's coming here tonight to change his life, turn it upside down. But put Josh in front of his home fans, get them roaring, with a nice undercard to get them heated up as well. I think we're going to see a top performance.
We had promoter Nissa Sauerland at the top table with us the other day in the media day. We shouldn't call it a press conference anymore. It's not a press conference anymore. It's a media day at the unquestionably incredible Common Room here in Newcastle. What a setting for such a venue, for such an occasion. But Nissa Sauerland, his promoter, was saying on the stage, this is a potential banana skin. This is an unknown entity in Flavius Biea. Josh himself was saying, look, when we're talking about Liam Smith and Troy Williamson, there's loads of footage. He's watched all their fights. He knows them. He knows what these guys bring. Flavius Biea, he doesn't. And that makes him an unknown entity. Should Josh Kelly win tonight? Yes, he should. However, have fighters been in the position before where they should win? And then all of a sudden, the big banana skin, the slip-up happens. Does that add a sense of danger, do you think, tonight?
Yeah, there is a sense of danger because you don't know what a fighter like that's going to bring. Again, I'll go back to when I spent some time with Josh in training camp, and I said, has he brought a little bit of that ego out? Because the first thing I saw from Flavius Biea was a quote, and that quote was, I'm going to hit back, and I'm going to hit back harder than you hit me. So there's a little bit of ego that I want to see brought out in Josh Kelly. He is an unknown quantity, but look, Josh will want to come through tonight, one, comfortably, and two, looking $1 million, and I think we get the best Josh Kelly. That's what should happen.
I know it sounds kind of cliche, and we say it about a lot of places that we go to. I think on the whole, the UK as a fighting country, as a combat sports country, it is sort of pioneering, it is sort of leading the way on the world stage. But every fighting city that we go to, it's a big fighting city, but that's personified no more so than in Newcastle. And when we look at tonight's bill, we look down the card, there is new northeast talent all the way through it. We'll have Ben Marksby on a little bit later on. Dan Toward, of course, is looking for redemption after his last performance where he was beaten down in Brighton. We've got Rogers coming, Lee Rogers coming to the card. Again, front of a hometown. Cyrus Pattinson, hometown. This is a night for northeast boxing.
I mean, there's more national titles on there than there are fighters. Some serious talents, and these amateur guys, when they get that pro experience, or when they enter the pro ranks, there's a lot to learn. A lot of them learning on the job, despite the fact they've perhaps fought at the elite of the amateur level. Sometimes they've got to drop down and fight guys that probably aren't as good as the guys they fought in the amateurs. But it's these tricks of the trade that these professionals will teach you and help you build into a fighter like a Josh Kelly. One I want to highlight is Cody Smith, who us two will be talking over when he fights later. The last time he fought in Brighton, other than Harlem, of course, because Harlem looked $1 million, Cody was the one that stood out and impressed me the most. Really excited to see what he brings tonight. We saw him in the hotel this morning, look as relaxed as you could look. You wouldn't think that's a man who's about to step in and have a fight in, what, 6-7 hours' time. Yeah, real list of talent tonight on this stream and on Channel 5 as well.
It was funny when we were speaking about Cody Smith this morning. I had a cup of coffee with him in the hotel. You know, as you say, rightly say, very calm, very collected in the room. What I like about Cody is from the moment we started working with him at Wasserman, which was from his debut, we were with him from his debut, he had this aura, this energy of, he called himself the Yorkshire Canelo. Can you imagine being a young Yorkshire debutant, 20 years old, 21 years old, and calling yourself Canelo? But he was backing it up. He was rocking around in silk shirts and in the sunglasses. He had the quick lines. He wanted to be known as that. He was chasing the Josh Warrington footsteps, if you like, wanting to be the hometown king in Yorkshire. Then he had a display at York Hall that he didn't lose. He was in a very, very tough fight, and he drew, and I mean, I think he just dented him a little bit. And what that did was it sent him back, maybe quieted him down a little bit. That personality is still there, but now there is a spiteful, hard-working. He changed a lot of his team up after that. He is a fighter that is going to come, and he's going to deliver on the show stage. He's going to come in wearing slick shirts and sunglasses indoors and fast talking and all that. But at the same time, he has this dream of being the Yorkshire Canelo. And if he can still have that moniker when he's 30, then he's doing something right.
Yeah, just because you've had 4, 5, 6 professional fights, I don't want to see you eliminate, not even an ego, eliminate that confidence, because people might misconceive it as, hold on, this guy's yet to achieve anything in the professional game. And like you said, he's swaggering around in silk shirts, and he's got tassels on his shorts, and he's dancing on the way to the ring. There's many of an example of a fighter, and I don't need to name any. I mean, I could do. You could look at someone like Dave Allen, who, all right, is just coming off a brilliant win, but originally a lot was made about the fact that this guy might not be the Lennox Lewis of the heavyweight division, but guess what? He's in big fights, and he's earned big money, and people know who he is. Now, if you have the talent, and you have the personality, and combine them, which Cody could well do, that's what makes you that superstar. So I don't want to see you, like I said, eliminate your personality. Back it up in the ring, combine the two together, and then we won't be talking about Cody Smith here, we'll be talking about Cody Smith in stadium shows. And that's the way it works.
It is the entertainment business, first and foremost. It is that. And you have to deliver in the ring, which Cody Smith, I think, is capable of holding a career throughout of doing. But at the same time, you have to deliver out of it. We've seen so many good, great, potentially great fighters who haven't made that step. You mentioned Dave Allen there, who I love Dave. We've got a lot of time for Dave. But like you say, maybe didn't quite make that final step when moving up in the levels, but certainly gave himself as a personality, and at that same time that opened the door for him to showcase what he could do, and perfectly showcased a couple of weeks ago when he takes a great win in front of a huge crowd and a great night for him against Johnny Fisher. We are edging towards tonight's opening bout, which is Lucas Rorig, and he's facing someone called Stefan Coit. Now, Lucas Rorig, for those who don't know, is managed and coached by George Groves. I think you know Lucas a little bit as well. This guy has got so much potential in there, and we speak a lot about potential on these shows, but this is one who I think really does lead the way in potential, showmanship, and could go as far as he wants.
I will say one thing. I was having dinner last night with Nissa, George and Lucas. That man can put away a steak. I'm telling you. Not just one
When you're a cruiserweight, you've got to. 2
or 3. I think he burnt a hole in Nissa's wallet last night. No, there's a real air of confidence, and I know one of the men in his corner really well, Josh Burnham. He met George at Dale Youth, and he said, look, I want you to help assist him with Lucas's corner. They put forward to him, on debut, Joel McIntyre. And Josh told me this story a couple of weeks ago. He said, I said to George, look, he's an experienced fighter, and I'm not saying he's not good enough, but when you're that age, we need to see how you perform in your first professional fight, and then we can talk about something like that, because he might have been a bag of nerves, you don't know.
Yeah.
Went away a couple of days, George Groves gave him a phone call and said, we're going to take that fight. He took that fight, and in the changing room at 19 years old, there was not one nerve in Lucas, and from that moment, Josh and George both said that they knew this kid is going to go far.
Well, good evening, boxing fans joining us ringside here in Newcastle. Firstly, we have a cruiserweight contest. This bout scheduled for 6 rounds of boxing. Firstly, to make his way to the red corner from Bordeaux, France, Sylvain Coit.
Making his way to the ring is Sylvain Coit, who will be the man facing Lucas Rorig tonight. Sylvain Coit, excuse me, is the first time fighting in the UK. Previously fighting out France and Belgium.
And now, to make his way to the blue corner, he brings with him a perfect professional fight record. Boxing out of Notting Hill, London. Lights out, Lucas Rorig. Here we go then with bout number 1 of our evening. This is Sauerland for Wasserman Boxing, bringing you a cruiserweight contest. This bout scheduled for 6 rounds of boxing. Timekeeper ringside is Stuart Lithgow of Hartlepool upon the sound of the bell. The scoring referee in charge of this contest is Danny McFarlane of Sunderland. Boxing out of the red corner. On the scales at 196 pounds, 9 ounces. He's wearing grey shorts this evening and has got 7 career victories, including 2 going inside the distance. Boxing out of Bordeaux, France, introducing Sylvain Coit. And across the ring, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing red, white and black this evening. At yesterday's weigh-in, he scaled 198 pounds, 3 ounces. His professional fight record is perfect. 4 visits to the ring, 4 victories, 2 going inside the scheduled distance. He boxes out of Notting Hill, London. Introducing the undefeated, lights out, Lucas Rorig. Referee Danny McFarlane will now give his final instructions.
Gentlemen, you both know the rules. Keep your heads up, keep your punches up, and protect yourselves at all times. Keep it clean, and I won't be seen. Touch gloves, back your corners.
So here we go in Newcastle, the first fight of the night underway ahead of Josh Kelly's return to home turf in the northeast. We get underway is Sylvain Coit in the red corner, against Lucas Rorig, trained and managed by George Groves, former super middleweight world champion.
Round one.
And round one we go. Now, Oscar Beavis was talking a moment ago about the calmness of Lucas Rorig and how that was how George Groves knew he was the one to follow, and we're going to see if he can translate that into the ring tonight against Sofian Koit, who, with 7 wins, comes bringing a threat, but straight from the off. Lucas Rorig commanding with that lead jab, getting it through the guard a couple times, just setting in that pace. Early days, as Koit tries to fire back, but Oscar, we can see straight away good confidence from Rorig, as you predicted just before his walkout.
Yeah, he cuts a confident figure, chiselled from stone, not a nerve about the boy. I did nip in to see him in the change room actually just quickly, and I was going to say it's like a job to him. It is his job. But it is just like a job, another day at the office for him. And the subplot here, or the plot here rather, is Lucas lights out Rorig against a man that's yet to be stopped. So there's a task there. There's a statement to be made tonight for Lucas. So excited to see what he does.
Well, he's 4-0, Lucas Rorig. 2 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Last time on a Wasserman card, we saw him in Brighton against Camilo Castaño. He did get his man down on the canvas in that fight. We didn't get him out of there. Very commanding the whole fight long. And he's getting to work on this body. We spoke a moment ago about the success of the jab. Don't discount that body work that he's throwing in, though. Lefts and rights, upstairs and downstairs. George Groves will be watching on to see how his man adapts to A, being the first fight of the night. It's his first round of the night. So he's got to adapt there quickly. And it looks like he's settling in fairly comfortably.
Yeah, what I enjoyed about Brighton specifically, and George alluded to this after the fight as well, is that when he had his man down, when he had his man hurt, he didn't rush. There was no windmill punches. He wasn't throwing at 100 miles an hour. He actually took his time. And George said, I was more impressed with the fact that he didn't just smother his man and think, there's a potential stoppage on the record here. He kept it calm. It went to points, and he looked very dominant and walked away happy. So,
well, it can happen that I don't want to say nerves, but the adrenaline can overtake, especially when it's still quite a quiet arena and you've just got to focus on your craft, especially when there's a man like Sofian Koit coming towards you, who, again, winning record, confident. He'll be coming here for the win. And this is an opportunity for Koit. Of course, if he can be the man to stop Rorig and take away that winning record, then he'd love to do that, but he's just not being given an opportunity so far. I think the reach is certainly helping Lucas Rorig as he moves and twinkles around.
I really enjoyed that Soviet-style low hands left to the body that we saw about 30 seconds ago.
Lucas Rorig in the red shorts against Sofian Koit in the black. You give the first round to Lucas Rorig, I think, simply on the fact that the jab's getting through. The fundamentals are being followed, Oscar. He's getting the jab through the guard. He's clocking in upstairs, but at the same time, the power shots, they're ripping to the body. And although it's the first round of the night, he's not really interested in settling in. He's not really interested in trying to keep it at range and find his feet. He's happy to get to work straight away. What do you think George will be saying to him, George Groves, in his corner there? What do you think he'll be saying to him now?
More of the same. When you're a fighter like Lucas Rorig, you might only get 18, 24 rounds a year. So why settle in? Why take time to relax, drop your hands, feint? Why not sometimes take centering? Why not pop out the jab consistently? Why not throw early to the body? Make the most of the rounds that you've got in the professional ring, because like I said, you only get 3, 4, 5 fights a year when you're at this stage, so why wait? And I think George will be saying more of the same, and I'm sure that's what we'll get in round 2.
Second round of the fight, second round of the night, underway here in the Utilita Arena in Newcastle, and we spoke earlier about this was Josh Kelly's first time in this arena since fighting Troy Williams. Troy Williamson, coincidentally, just taking his seat ringside alongside promoter Nessa Sauerland as well. Now good friends with Josh Kelly after great build-up and great fight a couple of years ago for that British title. But Lucas Rorig getting to work here with ambitions of his own as he throws in a couple of feints, drops the shoulder a couple of times, just allowed to find his range by Koit, and then he follows up with a good strong right, again upstairs and downstairs, working Koit and then stepping back, allowing Koit just to swing at fresh air, and that's really effective, Oscar, because it allows you to land, it allows you to score points, but it's demoralising for the opponent. When you swing and hit nothing, it burns energy, and you know it's burnt your energy. That's the most frustrating part when you swing and miss.
Yeah, it's one thing swinging and missing, but that shot that comes back, the shot that you can't stop, that'll be what's frustrating quite right now. You mentioned Troy Williamson. You'll have to do a lot to impress a man who fights as excitingly as he does. So it'll be interesting to see what he says about Lucas after his fight tonight.
Troy Williamson taking the action in. As mentioned, alongside promoter Nissa Sauerland, who there was a buzz around the Sauerland brothers and Wasserman boxing as a whole when Lucas Rorig signed. Of course, great relationship with George Groves, who long-time partnership with Wasserman boxing. And he just spoke so highly of Lucas, and you can see why. You know, when this is the first fight of the night and he's delivering like this and he's going upstairs and downstairs, he's allowing Sofian to walk onto him, to push him backwards, and then just get to work on the inside, as well as being able to push back and move on the outside. You mentioned how chiseled he was. With that comes great strength, and he's able to sort of manhandle and move around, move his fighter where he wants him, and that allows him to tee off.
You hear the word man strength a lot. When he does get his man strength, my word, be able to pick up the ring and throw it across the arena. You just heard a bit of noise from the away corner, and it's the first bit of noise you've heard in, what, 4.5, 5 minutes of this fight. And that just shows really how the shots haven't been landing from Coit.
Well, quite just reminding Lucas Rorig there that he's not just here to be bowled over. He did get a couple of shots across the top there on Lucas, just to remind him he's a live active opponent. 12 fights and 7 wins. A couple of draws on there as well, so it's by no means a heavy losing record that's coming in here. So Coit carries on trading with Rorig, but Rorig shoots in. They trade and they both land a couple, but you can clearly see the harder shots. And again, as Coit lands, although he does land, and that'd be something for Lucas to focus on, Lucas is really beginning to tee off now and find that range and power.
That short right in the exchange from Lucas was lovely.
Just thought for a moment Lucas Rorig might fancy the chances of turning up the pressure towards the end of round 2, seeing if he could get his man out of there. It might not be that easy, but Lucas Rorig, you get the impression that he's going to start hunting for this stoppage. He clearly wants to keep going in the knockout column.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with watching a fighter take shots. I know George might not be saying the exact same thing to Lucas right now, but from where we are, from where Nissa Sauerland is across the other side of the ring, you want to know if your fighter can take a shot on. All right, he's not taking haymakers on the chin, but the shots that are landing, he's eating up, he's ducking, he's diving. It's always good to know what your man is like when he's the one under pressure. So it's good to see bits and bobs coming back from Coit, but they are really, as I say, bits and bobs.
People talk about mental strength when you fight, and how much it's a mental game as much as it is a physical. And one thing that I always thought when I was in there was, if I got hit while the fight was on, how did other people see that hit? And did I have to sort of overcompensate for it? And that's really difficult to sort of get over that. But Lucas, he took a couple of shots there, but you sensed he still had the complete composure and knowledge that he was the one in control here. He's the one in charge.
It's only taken till round 3 of the first fight to mention Chris Ridgway's boxing career.
I was just talking about in gyms, but...
when I'm watching a blue chip elite prospect like Lucas, I'm not sure we can make those comparisons.
Yeah, fair point, well made. Oscar Beavis reminding me of my place in this fair enough.
Coming from a man who has never stepped in the ring and never will.
I tell you, one man that has stepped in the ring, Sofian Coit, just teeing off a little bit on Lucas Rorig there. Again, bringing test, and you can just see that a little bit of reddening on the face of Lucas, and that will come from the pressure that Coit is trying to bring back. And this is a little bit of a test now, as Lucas is able to really nice put on a roll and then shift out of the way, and again just leave his man swinging at air, comes back with a couple of strong jabs, and those jabs are so strong that you can see when he leans forward, it's not just flicking out of jabs to score points, they're spiteful, meaning jabs that are punching through the opponent.
There's a real motion to those right hands. There's another one just there and then down to the body with the left. There's a real motion to those right hands, like a smooth transition from jab to right hand.
As Lucas get the sense he's going for the body to try and make his man drop those hands. again, coming forward, just throwing that strong jab. He's taken a strong one there, though. Good right hand from Coit, got through there. And now Lucas is almost making his man pay for almost daring to hit him. So it looks like there's a little scratch on the face there of Coit, as the two really start to lock in and trade.
You can see Coit taking some advice from the corner when they was in the clinch there. I think they want to see that pressure that they've seen a couple of times, 2 or 3 times in this round. Easier said than done when you're on the end of that long jab and those looping left hands.
Great left hook over the top of the guard there from Rorig. But again, he gets caught with a right hand, a double right hand that came through from Coit. And Coit is just finding a little bit of success there. By no means is he doing enough to take the rounds. And we all know the adage, Oscar, of play in the rain and get wet. Of course you are going to take licks when you are moving up through the levels in boxing. And Lucas Rorig, strong right hand, really testing the chin of Coit there, who takes it and carries on coming forward. But both men are landing here.
Yeah, going back to what I said in the last round, I don't mind seeing you take a shot. I don't want to see you get to 15, 16 fights, come into a title shot, take a shot on the chin and not know how to respond. Like I said, he's not been hit with the biggest shots that he'll ever get hit by in his professional career. But a shot's a shot, and if you're taking some, you know how to react, you know what to revert to, what to do with your feet, where to place your hands. So all good experience from Lucas, and again, he takes another round.
Well, former world champion George Groves. We can hear him just about speaking to Lucas Rorig, and he's talking about timing, Oscar, and he's saying you've just got to work on your timing a little bit, because what Coit is doing is he's trying to get in and get close and tie him up, and he's saying you're catching him well, probably ailing back to that short right hand that we picked up on. He's landed that short right a couple of times. George is happy with that, but he wants to see a little bit more of it, I think.
Yeah, his expert eye is obviously seeing those exchanges, and he's probably sensing those nanoseconds that Lucas is probably thinking it's easier for you to say in the corner than it is for me to put into practice. But George is seeing those nanoseconds, those moments where when you come in for those exchanges, when he tries to clinch, there's some shots to be had and there's some damage to be dealt.
But this is where I think this is where the value of having someone like George Groves in your corner, that's where it comes, because you're right. He says it's easier for you to say it in the corner, but at the same time, George has been here. He's done exactly this against this level and above. So I think it's a great combination. For Lucas Rorig, these rounds and then those corner minutes with George Groves will be invaluable. But again, Coit comes through and he lands, but then straight away, as he goes upstairs and downstairs and lands a couple to the midsection of Lucas Rorig, straight away Lucas fires back, and it is exactly as we heard George saying. He's coming for the clinch. He's trying to land a couple of times, and a good lead left lands over the guard there from Rorig, and again a right hand gets through. Coit could shake his head, but I think he felt that one, and again throws out that hand, and Rorig just steps back and allows his man to miss. This is good stuff from Lucas Rorig.
The head shake normally means, yeah, you've hit me, but I don't want you to think it hurt.
Yeah. Oldest trick in the book from Sofian Coin, who again just sort of probes and tries to find, and again he shakes his head, but we felt that one from here as Lucas allowed the left, just took a little step back and allowed the left to miss, and then used that reach advantage over the top with a looping right straight down the pipe. This time though, as he went for the right, it was caught. Coin saw that one coming, it just caught it, deflected it off, and again goes back to trying to pressure Rorig into the corner, get his head on the chest. Rorig wise to it, pushes him back to the ropes.
There you go from George Groves. So what Lucas has put into practice in the last 2 minutes of this round 4, I think he's enjoying, I think he likes. Yeah. You see the energy levels starting to sap of Coit as well. That comes with taking the shots that he's taken.
It's a good learning fight for Lucas Rorig, because Coin is bringing some good pressure. You would say Rorig is doing enough, and again, you hear from George Groves, there you go, as we start working on feints and just making his man step backwards so Lucas can really leverage that long reach he's got, reach advantage over Sofian Coin.
You've got to learn to enjoy the ugly moments. So when they are in the clinch, when he's rubbing his head in your eye, when you are getting headbutts, elbows, you've got to learn to enjoy those ugly moments, of which there has been a few in this fight, and this round specifically.
Great body shot from Lucas, straight around the tucked in elbow and just landed. And you, again, Coyne can shake his head every single time, but it is not a great tell. And Lucas lands a good left hook. Rorig again as the two trade. Rorig is a man on the hunt. As round 4 comes to a close, again, goes back to his corner under the words of George Groves, who you get the sense will be the happiest of the cornermen.
Yeah, why would they not be happy? It's been a brilliant 4 rounds of learning for Lucas. Just trying to get a sense of how both corners feel. Some heavy breathing in the away corner. I wonder how many head shakes we'll get in round 5.
Well, I'm just trying to keep an ear as we've got a microphone down near George Groves, and we can hear him talking about utilising that feint a little bit more, because every time he utilises the feint, it expends a little bit of energy, and almost in immediate retaliation, Coyne every time will throw a couple of hands out to try and retaliate, and that just expends that little bit of energy, plus it opens up gaps that Rorig, with his strength and reach, can take advantage of. Again, he comes forward, a good 1-2, keeps him behind the jab. Rorig just probing. He's got the respect of Coyne now. Coyne's not going to come forward as much as maybe he did towards the start of the fight, because those short, sharp rights are working. And Rorig, you get the sense, even with another head shake, Rorig now might start to look to try and close this one out.
I like the fact there's been no decrease in output from Lucas Rorig. After 4 rounds that you've won comfortably, and it's a lovely right hand. Yeah, after 4 rounds you've won comfortably. Would be easy to perhaps take a back step, maybe throw the jab out a little less and try and conserve a bit of energy. But as I said early on in the fight, he looks like he wants to make the most of these rounds. And I like the fact he's busy. I'm sure Coyne doesn't like the fact he's busy, because you can see that he's feeling the effects of the, 12, 15 minutes we've had so far in this fight.
He landed a good right hand there, to give him credit, Coyne, over Rorig, who previously had let his hands go a little bit more, and then double right hand from Lucas Rorig. He's now really starting to apply this pressure, push his man around, commanding the centre of the ring now. And this might be where Rorig just takes a little breather when he knows he's got the middle of the ring. The middle of the ring is his space. And although Coyne throw out those jabs that semi-connect, it's Rorig that has the upper hand and the strength value. And again, we can hear George Groves saying, use your legs more faint, move back, and allow Coyne to come onto him.
Yeah, the centre of the ring has changed hands. It was Coyte's early on, and we saw Lucas at times having to box on the back foot and pepper the jab out, which he's still doing, but now there's a lot more front foot action. Still dancing his way around the ring where he can. Good right hand from Coyne.
Yep, so I think Coyne he has landed a couple of good shots through this fight. It's not all been one-way traffic. It's not been perfect for Lucas Rorig, but the experience will be invaluable on the pro career. And he continues just to work patiently, go to the body, track his man down. Good, precise shooting from Lucas Rorig, who this time pushes his man back. Just as the pair is separated, Lucas comes straight forward again. And as we see the final 10 seconds, just as in the last couple of rounds, as soon as the 10-second clapper goes, it tends to spark up a little bit more enthusiasm from both fighters who want to finish the round strong. Rorig will cruise this one comfortably if he can see that this last round out the way he's seen the first 5. I think he might go and try and see the job before then. Yeah, Coyne has been a worthy opposition not to let that happen, Oscar.
Absolutely, he's been, like you say, worthy opposition. I think he's been more than worthy in helping the progress of Lucas in the pro ranks. He would have enjoyed his time in the ring tonight, Lucas. George would have enjoyed it as well. It'll be interesting to see now how he navigates that final round.
It's been a good few months for Lucas Rorig, who, after his win in Brighton on that Eubank Tyrone McKenna card a couple of months ago, then went to fight at Chelsea's Stamford Bridge. Oscar, I know you're a fan of the Blues.
That's my dream. That's my dream. I've always held a little grudge against Darren Barker for deciding not to do that, so.
It's the 6th and final round for Lucas Rorig in Newcastle tonight. And straight away, Lucas gets to work. He will expel that last bit of energy now in the tank to see just how far he can push Sofian Coit here in Newcastle. And it's been a good opening card. Can he live up to the name in this final round of Lucas Lights Out Rorig? Straight away, the two get to trade in. And another strong jab straight through the guard there. A 1-2 followed up immediately by Rorig, who comes in with the uppercut, and they're just coming from all angles now. And straight away, he's allowed to take that step back. He's commanding. But there goes Coit again, landing over the top.
I said it looks like he's having fun. He's bringing out the full repertoire. Jab, uppercut, left to the body, 3-4 punch combinations, which George didn't seem to like. With a nah. Stop.
We can hear George Groves clearly say jab, hook, body, head, as we've seen throughout the fight from Lucas Rorig. The old adage of chopping the trunk. Rorig again going upstairs. Such strong jabs, and we've seen it with fighters over the years. Uppercut gets through again when the jabs are just as strong as the right hand.
He looked for a second as if he was hurt to the body. Coit.
It's been a tough night's work for Sofian Coit, but he does keep landing, and he's a game fighter coming over the top there.
He's earned every penny.
He has earned every penny tonight. Sofian Coit. But now you get the impression, if you're Lucas Rorig, what do you do for the last minute of the fight? Do you try and say, okay, this guy's not going anywhere, I'm going to take it easy? Or do you empty the tank, so to speak, and just see what can happen, even if it does mean you're open to a couple more shots?
Well, I'm an onlooker, so I want to see him empty the tank. Whether that's right or wrong is a different story. It's a risky game, boxing, and he'll walk away happy if this fight stays exactly as it has for the next 45 seconds. So I think you see the job through. Keep peppering out the jab. Don't be afraid to throw a couple of big right hands, but I think when the job's done, perhaps sit on this victory and enjoy bringing out your repertoire of punches for the last 30 seconds.
Well, Rorig, he is bringing out those punches, as you say, and he doesn't mind expending that energy and showing that power. Lucas Rorig, I think, for those final 15, as soon as we hear the clapper go, I think that'll be his tee-off cue, as it's been for the last few rounds. But it looks like we might be going the distance here in the first fight of the night in Newcastle. And it's actually Coit who's just turning up the pressure towards the end. The fight goes the distance, the final bell goes.
I really enjoyed that.
It was a good first fight of the night. Lucas Rorig and George Groves will be happy with what they've seen. I think maybe he'll be a little, not frustrated, but I think a little bit of him wanted that stoppage. It even looked like a little bit of a shake of the head there from Rorig, but he knows he's comfortably won the fight there, in my opinion.
I like that. He's setting himself high standards, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just want to allude to the R on the back of his shorts, and this is a conversation that we had last night.
Yeah, Rockstar Games.
Rockstar Games. I said, talk to me about the deal with you and Rockstar, where that can lead, and he said, it will make me the happiest man on earth if I can be in Grand Theft Auto 6.
Obviously referring to the computer game and not turn into a life of crime. Lucas Rorig, when you've got the athletic abilities that he does, I think he'd want to see...
I can see him as a final boss in a video game.
A fully fledged career in the boxing ring first. But who knows what comes down the line, especially working with Rockstar Games, who I must admit, they gave him a cool pair of socks yesterday. But we go to Paul Booth for the winning announcement.
So, boxing fans, our 6-round cruiserweight contest goes the distance. Our scoring referee, Danny McFarlane, scores the bout at 60 points to 54 points in favour of the winner. Still undefeated as a professional boxer from Notting Hill, lights out Lucas Rorig.
Lucas Rorig takes the win in Newcastle on the opening fight of the night. Here as Josh Kelly prepares to headline on Channel 5 tonight against Flavius Biea. The first fight of the night is done, and it goes the way of Lucas Lights Out Rorig, managed and coached by George Groves. They've got through a very tough, very game Sofiane Coy tonight, who's first time fighting in the UK, the Frenchman. He'll go back and reassess. I'm sure we'll see him again, but for tonight, Lucas Rorig adds another W to the column, and Team Rorig go back ready to celebrate.
Yeah, there's many ways to do a job, but I think that's one that George and Team Rorig will be very happy with. It can't all be sunshine and roses, and that means you can't just smash someone up for 4, 6, 8 rounds, whatever you're in there for at the early stages of your career. He had to take some punches. He definitely dished a few out. He will walk away from tonight a better and more experienced professional fighter.
Fight number 1 is done as Lucas Rorig comes down the steps beside us. A good win for Lucas Rorig.
Next, we have a scheduled 8 rounds of boxing. Firstly, to make his way to the ring from Argentina, Nicolas Ariel Blanco.
Making his way to the ring, Nicolas Blanco. And this, Oscar, I've got to say, is one of the fights I've been most looking forward to this evening. Ben Marksby delivered one of the most stunning KOs I've seen on Wasserman shows in recent time, last time in Newcastle. He's back on home turf. It was the first knockout in his 11-fight career. He's got a good rivalry running with another fighter on the card who we'll be watching tonight. But first off, he's got to get past a very tough, very game Nicolas Blanco, who in 15 fights has 12 wins, and he will want to replicate that knockout.
And now to make his way to the blue corner from Darlington, Ben Marksby.
And straight away we can hear the hometown crowd turning up for Ben Marksby, who delivered last time and has had the same energy this week. He's been really up for it. Really exciting young fighter. Ben Marksby makes his way to the ring. What a fight we've got here, Oscar.
Yeah, 10-9 to Ben on song choice, for starters. You mentioned that knockout against Levi Kinciona. I can't imagine having not knocked anyone out in 10 fights, and in fight number 11, getting that knockout, how that must have felt.
Nessa Sowland for Wasserman Boxing now bring you a scheduled 8-round contest. Timekeeper ringside is Jim Holborn. Upon the sound of the bell, the scoring referee in charge is A-star referee Ron Kearney of Sunderland. Boxing out of the red corner, scaling at 141 pounds 5 ounces. Tonight he's wearing black with blue. 12 victories, 1 inside the distance. He boxes out of Santa Fe, Argentina. Introducing Nicolas Ariel Blanco. Across the ring, boxing out of the blue corner this evening, he's wearing grey trimmed with orange. At the weigh-in, he scaled 142 pounds 6 ounces. Standing in the ring this evening proudly is a 6-time national amateur champion. As a professional, 11 career victories from Darlington. It's Ben Marksby. Referee Ron Kearney with his final instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, keep your heads out, keep your punches up, and keep it clean. Obey my commands at all times, and protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves, come out boxing on the bell, let's go.
Well, the last time we saw such a haircut in this part of the world, it was a Josh Kelly fight night when he took on Lucas Bastida 3 years ago now. as a Wasserman boxing fighter. Tonight, we see it on Nicholas Blanco, who goes up against Ben Marksby. We were speaking about Ben Marksby a moment ago. Very, very highly considered in these parts of the world. He's a hometown, maybe a hero is a bit premature, but he's on that path. And with the knockout like he produced like last time, if he can do a few more of those, then that status will be on the offering for him, Oscar. And you were saying, what a moment for him to take that last time.
Yeah, I've got to ask first why a few more of our lads don't adopt the flag in the hair style. I like it. No, in terms of Ben Marksby, I was just saying, we'd seen technical proficiency, discipline, we'd seen him control the pace, we'd seen everything in his 10 fights. The only thing we hadn't seen is that spitefulness, and he obviously wanted to get a win in the knockout column. We saw the spitefulness, the knockout win came in his biggest test to date. Spoke to him after, and I said to him I couldn't imagine how he felt when he told me. And he said it felt like a weight off his shoulders, and if we're going to continue to see that spitefulness mixed in with the, like I said, technical ability that he's got, the hype's going to grow and grow, and like you said, he's on a bit of a warpath. So a good performance tonight will continue that journey.
Well, he's laser guided, Ben Marksby, and we see him. He's not under any fear when he steps forward, as we just saw then, sort of scoping out his man, daring him, lowering their hands to come forward. But that fear in Nicholas Blanco is not through fear of engaging. He's so quick, Ben Marksby. And Nicholas Blanco will know that if he lets those hands go and if he opens up even slightly straight away, as you see just there, Ben Marksby will find that opening. The hands are so quick. And what's interesting is Jahan Ingram, the Misfits pro boxer, who was fighting on the Wasserman card tonight and was here last time in Newcastle. The two of them have spoken about meeting up next, and what a fight. If both of them can get through their respective challenges tonight, what a fight that would be. I have no doubt that Jahan Ingram will be keeping an eye on this fight tonight.
Yeah, he's got his own matters to deal with later on in the evening. But he's a man who likes to talk, he's a man who likes to fight. And if you've spoken about a fight like this before, I'm sure he's sitting, be it in the changing room or back at the fight hotel, with his feet up, having a little look and seeing what could be for the future.
I don't think you would call out a fighter like Ben Marksby unless you were incredibly confident. And the reason I say that, with the greatest of respect to Ben Marksby, he doesn't have this mega profile. It's not a huge fight you're calling out, but he does have incredible technical ability. So to call out a fight like that, you've got to back yourself. You've got to believe in yourself.
That's why it's such a brave move.
Yeah.
If there was a mega hype, like I mentioned a minute ago, the hype is building, and people, especially after his win against Levi Kinciona, people are starting to get excited, really excited about Ben Marksby. But if there was this mega hype behind him, you could perhaps understand a call out, because there might be a bit more profile, or there'll be something in the fight for John Ingram. He really backs himself, which I like. England versus America.
We'll take it.
Why not?
Misfits versus Wasserman, maybe. But as we look tonight, it's Ben Marksby and Nicholas Blanco from the off as that first round gets underway. Another notable name on the record of Ben Marksby is Miguel Antin. Miguel Antin, a previous Harlem Eubank opponent. He came in at short notice and really gave Harlem a good, strong, tough fight back in York Hall a couple of years ago. Ben Marksby took that fight and, similar to Harlem, dealt with him effectively, laser-guided, very disciplined. And you look at the way Harlem Eubank's career has gone, and I appreciate there's different factors there, but Ben Marksby would be more than happy with a similar trajectory.
Yeah, absolutely. Harlem done things, and I don't want to use the expression the hard way, but it's the one that I think suits. When you've got the Eubank name, things might be slightly easier for you than others on the circuit. But Harlem had to grind away. He had some tough opponents early on in his career, and now he's going to reap the rewards of a big fight next against Jack Cattrall. If Ben Marksby's career is to pan out like Harlem Eubank's, I'm sure he'll be very delighted.
Well, there is no questioning the ability so far from what we've seen. A flawless record for Ben Marksby, capped, as Oscar Riley says, against Levi Kinciona last time in what was the toughest fight of his career to date. Levi Kinciona, and Ben Marksby completely ended all talk of that being a competitive fight in the second round of an absolute demolition job last time out. But he's here now against Nicholas Blanco, who, with 15 fights under his belt, he's experienced. He's only lost 3 of those. So he comes confident. He's another fighter looking to win, and he's another fighter that knows if he can win tonight, if he can take a statement, then that's only upturns for him. What a statement that would be, and what opportunities can come off the back of that for the Argentinian. So he will look at tonight as a big opportunity.
Yeah, that's what's in it for these away fighters, as we call them tonight. They're coming to the home city of some of these fighters, some not, but they're coming in to fights like this knowing that a win changes their trajectory completely. Financial reward, title fights, there's big opportunity on the line for some of these guys coming in to try and take the scalps of some of Wasserman's young and exciting talent. Just on Marksby, we spoke about the way that he's been moved. I think it's a real credit to Wasserman and the matchmaking. He had 4 rounders early on, didn't drop a round, moved to 6, dropped a couple of rounds, had to learn in tough fights, had 1 8-rounder, flew into that Levi Kinciona fight. It's been a perfect example of how you move such a fighter who is to turn over into the pro game with talent. What we're talking, I think 6-time national champion. A real credit to Wasserman the way that Ben's been moved so far.
Good credit, Nessa Sauerland and Sam Walmsley, the matchmaker here at Wasserman Boxing. But Ben Marksby, that Kinciona fight was scheduled for 10, ended in 2. Tonight is an 8-round, and as Oscar says, these are the things that you learn in the trade, that there's so much more that goes into a fighter's career than just learning how to do the basics or the fundamentals or become the showman. You have to learn the levels, you have to learn how to manage your fitness, how to manage your stamina, and at the same time keep the concentration and the discipline that Ben Marksby has got, and he's really mastered. Similar to Dan Toward, who, okay, last time didn't end so well for him, and he's on the redemption trail. I spoke to Dan Toward earlier this week, and he was saying, nothing's changed. I'm still one of the hottest prospects in the country. Okay, I took a loss. It's sport, fair enough. It's the same here with Ben, albeit he didn't have the loss last time. He's such a hot prospect. That's why people want to fight him.
Yeah, and just referencing Dan, like you mentioned, sometimes with a defeat there's a freedom that comes with it. You haven't got your, we don't need to talk about the importance that is placed on the undefeated record nowadays, but there's a freedom that comes with that.
Good shifting footwork from Ben Marksby, who puts his man down right at the end of the round. A great left check from Ben Marksby. He showed slick footwork just before it. And is Nicholas Blanco going to be able to beat the count? It looks like he's going to as the bell goes. He will have a minute now to recover as he goes back to his corner. What a sharp shooting finish to the round by Ben Marksby, who sits there with a big grin on his face, and rightly earned, as Nicholas Blanco is going to take a moment to recover here. Oscar, what a sharp shooting finish to the round from nowhere. Ben Marksby showed just exactly what we were talking about, precision, discipline, and then a tremendous left hook right on the button to drop his man straight away.
Lightning speed. You can't give someone with that technical ability even a split second of an opportunity. Brilliant left hand. You can see he's an experienced man. The round ended and he took his time to get to his feet. I'm just trying to see and feel the vibe from the Argentinian's corner, but
well,
it's like a whippet, that left hand.
The big question now is, how do we start round 2 after such an explosive finish to round 1? Does Marksby, he bites down and straight away Marksby's coming forward, and last time he waited for his man to come to him, this time no chance. Marksby backs his man up. He's looking again for that opening, exactly the same as we saw at the beginning of the first. He's just standing there, and this time now Nicholas Blanco goes down again under a good flurry from Ben Marksby. He just cannot take this level that Marksby is bringing to him. Again, Nicholas Blanco looks at the referee, looks at his corner. Ben Marksby knows that this is in the air now, this is close. Ben Marksby cuts that ring off, doesn't give Blanco anywhere to go, and straight away letting those hands go. Ben Marksby senses it now, the blood is in the water, and he's coming for it.
He banged his gloves together. I would say in frustration, but I think that frustration is that he knows he's in with someone that might be a bit too fast and a bit too skillful.
This is statement stuff from Ben Marksby, who showed it last time with a commanding second round knockout. It's swift footwork, it's upstairs, downstairs. Ben Marksby has just shown tremendous level. At the end of the first round and the beginning of the second, really, really strong stuff from the hometown man here, Ben Marksby.
Yeah, real front foot hunting now from Ben Marksby.
And again, what an uppercut. As Ben Marksby lands again, I thought Nicholas was going to go for a moment. He looked up at the ceiling. We heard that one from round here. And it's a credit to Nicholas Blanco, Oscar Davis, that he stayed on his feet, because what a shot that was. It was exactly the same as the one at the end of the first round. And again, Ben Marksby finding the button. Surely Nicholas Blanco realises the end is near for him here.
I was going to say he looked fearful going into that exchange 30 seconds ago, but then he flew into another one, both exchanging right hands, one coming off a lot more worse than...
Now, Blanco seemed to throw a little early after the break there for me, and the referee just mentions about the head as well. These are the tactics that I think you have to adopt when you know you're in survival mode. Ben Marksby is looking clinical out here, surgical, in fact, with the way the lefts and rights are coming in, and the continuing trying to duck down isn't doing Blanco any favours, because the shots are coming from low, upwards from Marksby.
Whether it's clinching, using your head, punching early on the break, anything you can do to get out of the situation that you're in, you will do.
It's survival mode. When flight beats fight. Nicholas Blanco has nowhere to go here. Ben Marksby is doing a tremendous job of cutting it up, not allowing his man to move anywhere he doesn't want him to. And again, lands on the top of the head with a strong left hook. Ben Marksby is looking untouchable in here. Blanco, to his credit, gets up again and looks like he wants to keep going, but the referee will say that is that. And Ben Marksby has done it again. A great finish for the hometown lad, who turns around to good, loud cheers and applause. Ben Marksby sends out a statement again, and if Jahan Ingram is watching, Jahan Ingram is taking notes. And does he still want that fight? We'll have to find out later, because Ben Marksby has made a real statement here tonight.
Once you get a taste of what it's like to win inside the distance, guess that taste isn't going to go now for Ben Marksby. If you are listening, John Ingram, we'll have a little chat when I see you a little bit later. I'd love to know what you thought of that performance from Ben tonight.
Well, Ben Marksby went 10 fights the distance. 10 fights with no knockouts, 10 fights, 10 final bells. Since then, he's been 2 fights, 4 rounds. Unbelievable finishing from Ben Marksby again, who last time against Levi Kincione and this time against Nicholas Blanco. Ben Marksby is showing that he can go through the levels.
Let's drop the John Ingram talk for a minute. Regional titles, English titles. There are other avenues and logical steps for Ben Marksby. But I can imagine on performances like that, he might be an easier man to avoid than to step in the ring with.
Well, I can't imagine there will be many fighters fancying their chances now in the super lightweight division against Ben Marksby, who just, again, surgical, clinical, emotionless, finishing against Nicholas Blanco, who was not just a fighter here to make up the numbers. We go to Paul Booth for the announcement.
Boxing fans, the official end of this bout falls at 2 minutes 58 seconds of round number 3. Referee Ron Kearney has stopped the contest. In his professional opinion, Blanco is in no position to continue. The official decision is a TKO. It is win number 12 for Darlington's Ben Marksby.
Ben Marksby gets the job done here at the Utility Arena in Newcastle. A good stage, a great finish. Oscar, what a talent we have here.
Yeah, we mentioned about the box that we needed to see being ticked, being that spitefulness, that fight finishing power. And now we've seen it back to back in the space of, what, 5-6 months. This was a special talent that now looks even more special. Barely looks like he's been in a fight.
Well, Ben Marksby will go back to his dressing room a very, very happy man. And we've got such a good night of action here on Channel 5 and 5 Action, Triller around the world, and the Wasserman Boxing YouTube channel. Here in Newcastle tonight, ahead of the pretty boy, Josh Kelly. But it's Ben Marksby who's enjoyed the fight of the night so far. And he steps down. What a win for Ben Marksby, the man from Darlington. And Oscar, we're going to take a step away in just a moment as another heavy hitter comes next. Matty Harris, the heavyweight who seemingly always fights with a point to prove, yet always seems to end his fights early.
Yeah, I think it's, what, 6 knockouts, 5 of those knockouts in round 1. My commentary debut last time in Brighton began with Matty Harris, and I think 2 minutes after the first bell, I had a head bouncing in front of me. He is one scary man, and I know he had a defeat, but talk to him about that defeat, talk to Peter Fury about that defeat, and talk to him about the mentality since that defeat. He spoke about Dan Town and how it takes pressure and weight off of a fighter's shoulders. It looks like, as much as he won't like looking at that loss column, it looks like that loss might be one of the best things that's happened to him. Matty Harris now with a point to prove and on a real vengeance streak. This is a man you cannot miss.
You say that you went for a steak with Lucas Rorig last night. Here's my counter. I played chess with Matty Harris last night. He is a thinking heavyweight as much as he is a banging heavyweight. He wants to be that guy, and he's going through the right steps.
Is he good?
Yep, he's very good.
But are you good?
I'd like to say I'm good. I like to think I'm good. I mean, we're not here to talk. We've already spoken about my blossoming boxing career. We're not here to talk about my chess abilities as well. That being said,
I need to know the level of chess that Matty Harris is operating at. That's the thing.
Let's say area title, if we're going to put it in that kind of sense. A good solid area competitor when it comes to chess. But Matty Harris, the thing was, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, he didn't win all of the games, but when he was losing, he was asking me, how can I get out of this position? He wasn't just losing and doing what I might have done of flipping the pieces everywhere. He was asking, well, what would you have done here? How can I operate my way out of this? Which is what you want to hear from a good, young, learning lad.
Yeah, you mentioned it, a thinking heavyweight, not just a banging heavyweight. That 6'8", big frame, it's easy to look at him and get mistaken for a fighter that just wants to get in there and flatten people, and he has done that, correct. But there's a lot more strings to Matty Harris's bow than just someone who's going to get in, pepper out a couple of jabs, throw a looping right hand and leave his man on the canvas. There's a real boxing ability that is there, that Peter Fury now looks to be unlocking, and he sets real high standards. I remember speaking to Peter after that win in Brighton, and he said, you know, if we knock a fight right in round 1, I'm not happy. I won't be impressed. I want more. And that's coming from his trainer after a performance that we looked at and went, wow. So that just shows you the standards they're setting. I know he's training hard, mentally and physically, he looks in a great place. I think the next year to 18 months, we could have some real fun watching Matty Harris. And
you look at who he's trained with. And again, this happens a lot in boxing, so I don't want to read too much into it. But he's trained with all the names that he should have trained with. He's trained with Dillian White, he's trained with Derek Chisora, he's trained with Lawrence Okoli, he's trained with Anthony Joshua. These leading stars in the division, they've trained with him. Matty Harris, Tyson Fury's been in his dressing room before fights. The levels he's been around is what he aspires to be. You don't learn nothing when you are constantly around this level.
I mean, I've been in gyms watching these elite heavyweights before, and I feel like I've been learning.
Yeah.
So he's been in the ring with these heavyweights, sparred the names that you mentioned, sparred Francis Ngannou. He's been in the ring, learning on the job, in the gyms, doing the rounds. So the knowledge that he must have been soaking up on this journey is incredible. And I remember going back to the defeat, I think it was you done a piece with Anthony Joshua, where he gave a little bit of advice to Matty and how to come back and how to deal with a defeat. He's had so many good people say such good things, say the right things in his ear. And I think we'll see a good performance tonight, hopefully. And then we'll see some big stuff in the remainder of this year and into 2026.
Well, I think we're about to hand over any moment as Matty Harris takes to the ring. Barry Jones and Dave Farrow will be here as we flick the action onto 5 action here tonight as part of a huge card here in Newcastle. Okay, 1-2, 1-2. Hello, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2.
To go live on TV in 4 minutes from now. We're going to go live on 5 action.
1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 1-2, 3. Yeah, can you leave it open for me, because I could just get my level sorted? Thank you. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 1-2, 3, 1-2, 3. Thank you very much. Great.
Yeah, I can. Oh, hang on. Oh, there you go. I can hear myself. Can you hear me? Perfect. Thank you. Hang on. Yeah, I can hear some squeaking. Yeah, no, I can just hear a little squeaking sound. Sorry, Paul.
Thank you very much. Everybody starts to take your seats just a short while now before we go live on 5 action, along with our action in the ring with the heavyweights, Dan Garber and Matty Harris.